All right, babes, it's Bimini, and we are back with a brand new episode of The Pieces. And today, I'm very excited for this guest. We have the incredible Jaguar. Jaguar.
Hello.
Hey, baby. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. I feel honoured that you wanted to have me on your podcast.
Well, I'm so excited to have you because we can continue our conversation that we had, but we've swapped chairs, we've swapped roles.
Yeah, I want to say that I loved speaking to you on mine, because I didn't really, that's the first time I properly spoken to you at length and got to know you, and I was blown away. It was it left quite an impression on me.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate it. I loved chatting to you, and I think I wanted to say this anyway. You are someone that I think our industry is quite competitive and it's quite dog eat dog. But I feel like your spirit is just to uplift, and you want to bring out the best in people. You see the best, and you want to nurture. It's a really beautiful trait that not everyone has. So I appreciate that from you. And I think you uplift everyone. And I'm so glad that you're getting to make your own stuff now and do that. And I just feel like every time I hear some stuff, because I've heard some unreleased bits, it's just so exciting. So how do you feel about that?
Oh, well, thank you, first of all. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but something in me, I just love fighting for the underdog, and that kind of goes throughout everything. Me on radio, my whole show is about supporting literally really brand new artists making music in their bedrooms, and giving them a platform to grow. And then I guess through the stuff I've done with my gender report and fighting for equality across the board for also, I don't know, I think it's just who I am. I don't know.
It's just innate.
Yeah.
It's good though, because not everyone has that. And I think you like to see the next thing, and you like to see what's happening, and also open to conversations around change and understanding that we're not so linear and everything's not so binary. And I think that's amazing. And we'll talk about the report, the Jaguar Foundation. How did that come about?
So with the report, so for those that don't know, in 2022, it's a while ago now, I set up the Jaguar Foundation, and with the help of Sony, they've got a social justice department. We came together and just had this report which looks into the gender disparity in UK dance music, which had never been looked at before officially. We were the first ones to do research and get statistics about, we looked at the official charts, we looked at festival lineups, streaming, radio plays. So we had a lot of data just showing and it is a vast disparity if you look at the numbers between basically cis men, and we kind of had to lump everyone else together, women and non-binary trans people, and it's definitely something I want to revisit again in the future when I've got time, and I would love to dive more into the nuances of gender, because I think one challenge was there's not much data for anyone who isn't male or female, and I think there'll probably be more data out there now, but I'd love to just kind of dive further in and maybe speak to more people from gender non-conforming identities. And there's definitely some things I'd love to build on with the report, but anyone can download it for free, jaguarfoundation.net. You can also buy a physical report if you want to.
I have the physical one. I love it.
They're cute, aren't they?
I was meant to bring it today, but it wasn't in my bag, and I thought it was. But it's really interesting is a word, but I would also say unsurprising when you read it and you're and you see some of the statistics. I mean, that's what I think I fight for. I think that's what you fight for. We want that change within the industry, across the board, not even just in dance music, but across everything, just more equality. And I feel that is a threat to so many people, or people see it as a threat. And those that don't want it, I just think I don't know what's going on. Because I feel especially understanding different perspectives is so important. And you must see that when you, with BBC introducing your show, you get to hear so many new talent. But that must be difficult to be oh, that's so good. But because I mean, obviously you must hear so much.
Oh, babe. We get about...
Because I know I've sent you a few songs.
Yeah. I mean, we get about 600 tracks a week
for
my radio show. And it's an hour-long radio show. And like, there's a lot of challenges with curating the show. I mean, I've been introducing dance for 5 years now. And, you know, I'm always looking at, obviously, like the best tunes that have come through, but like where are they representing in the UK? And then like genre-wise, we kind of playing a diverse range of genres. And then obviously like ethnicity, gender. There's so many factors that go into creating this like 1 hour radio show. And there's more and more music every week. Like it's overwhelming sometimes how much, but it's amazing that there's so many people making electronic music, but it's a lot.
I mean, I love listening to the show just because you get to hear you get to hear depth of new talent, and also I feel like you get to hear what's going to be coming up in the genre next, you know, and like how that trajectory will be. So I always like tuning in, and you have supported me with some of the songs, so I'm very grateful for that, which we love. So how do you feel though? You started in radio at university, so was that your first go at kind of any form of presenting?
Yeah, so I got into kind of everything that I do now. When I was at uni, I went to Leeds Uni and I did an English literature degree, and didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I was interested in radio. I just thought, oh, that looks fun, like trying to present a show. And then I literally just signed up to Leeds Student Radio for fun, like on a whim, and then ended up doing a show. And we just became obsessed with it, like straight away. I was like, this is so fun, like editing audio, presenting to my massive audience of like 3 people, one of them being my mum.
Shout
out, mum. And then, yeah, like, I mean, I got really, I think like doing well is a mixture of finding opportunities and getting lucky. And I think I put myself forward for a lot of things. I put myself forward for an internship with BBC. And I got that when I was 19. So then I was already in the BBC at Radio 1 and 1 Extra in production. And like, it's, even though it's mad, like, that was like 11 years ago now, when I was like this little 19-year-old looking around, like seeing like Fern Cotton and Annie Mac and Zane Lowe and Grimmy, like they were all there at the time. And it was incredible. And I still remember how that feels, even though I've like, you know, I've been presenting on Radio 1 for 5 years. I've played live at festivals, live on the radio at Glastonbury, like interviewed so many people. I've also worked in production. I used to make like all the cue cards for BBC Introducing, and I used to like, I've done it all.
Yeah.
You know, but I still don't take it for granted, that journey, because I don't know, it's kind of a big part of it.
There's a lot that goes into it, I think, into radio and into the whole thing. Like you said about putting the show together, like people don't see that side of everything. But I feel like, yeah, so you started with university and then obviously internship at BBC, incredible. I remember wanting to do, like when I was younger, seeing like, do I want to be on the radio? Like I've always loved it as well, you know, like presenting. I studied journalism, so I went on to do that, and like broadcast was part of it, and like we had to do that. But I mean, it wasn't everyone that I've went to uni with now works for like Daily Mail and stuff, but that's not where I work. I work here. But no, I think it's incredible. And your journey is, I feel like throughout that whole thing, like the ethos, like you're wanting to kind of find out about people and curiosity. And I think that's so ingrained in you as well. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Curiosity you have. And I think that just keeps everything interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I would say that as a valid observation of my character and spirit. I think I'm very curious. I'm always questioning things, and I've always got a thought on something. I always want to find out whether it's literally like discovering music and artists, or questioning like systemic things, or just like, oh, that sounds fun. Like, I'm just going to follow that. And I think that's a great way to be. And I think being curious and staying curious, as they say, that's like how you have longevity. And also it just keeps life interesting.
Totally. Well, I think it's a bit of a quite purple hair. Yeah. Spiritual.
Sure. Is that a spiritual colour?
Purple is a spiritual colour, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so I did yoga. I used to teach it actually. And
really?
Yeah, and we learn all about the chakras. And purple is the spiritual one. And I feel like that's about openness and empathy, which I think you do have.
Oh my God, I'm such an empath. Which I think is a strength. And sometimes I'm like, my new thing is to try and let things be. That's what I'm trying to practice this year.
Let me know how it goes, because I need to do that.
Yeah. Well, we can like be each other's support group, because And, from like, I don't know, like a family member might be going through something and I want to try. I've always been wanting to try and like fix it or do this or so many things. And like, you can only do so much, I've learned. And like, actually, you're just putting unnecessary stress and burden on yourself. And
especially if they're not wanting the help.
Exactly. Like, and also I think sometimes leaving things and letting them do their thing, that can also create movement and change in the future, because then that person's like, no one's interfering. They're just figuring that thing out. So I'm trying to do that. But I think also, being an empath makes me perfect for my job. And like BBC Introducing, I think, is one of the most incredible platforms for artists in the world. Like, genuinely, it's a free platform. Anyone can sign up, make a profile, and like you can get supported across radio. And we have festival stages, Reading and Leeds, Glastonbury. And genuinely, it makes such a difference. And I think especially at the moment where the scene is so affected by the nightlife industry crisis and like the economics of the world and the clubs closing and festivals closing and no one having any money. And there also being so many artists now, but then there's just fewer opportunities for artists. And I said I was an empath. Like, I've actually been feeling a lot of heaviness this week for that, because it's really, really sad. And I feel like people are tired, and like the least people deserve is like being able to like make money and be self-sufficient from their art. And it's just not possible at the moment. It's like with streaming, with especially live music, like it's kind of getting harder and harder to break through to the level where you can quit your day job and you can just live off music. And it makes me really appreciate what I do every day, because I feel very, very fortunate to be living off. I know I do lots of different things, but my job is within music, and I feel really grateful. But I just want to send a lot of support out to artists right now, because it's hard.
Well, you always have done, but I feel like you're right about that, because I think it's something you've been very vocal about, is nightlife and the state of nightlife right now. And I mean, I wouldn't have been able to get to where I am and do what I've done if I hadn't started in the club. Like, I literally started at the Glory in East London, 2017, first went on stage, got covered in oat milk. Like, I started there and like got to go on to do loads of things, and I'm very grateful as well. And I look at the state of it and the state of nightlife, and I think it's just heartbreaking when I see or hear about younger generation that aren't going out dancing. Like, you don't have to, I mean, I know everyone's not drinking, and that's good, but not experiencing life and music and culture. If I hadn't done that even I was doing it back in my hometown, but when I moved to London and I got to see so much queerness, and that really helped shape me and my identity. And it worries me that that's not happening as much, and the places are closing. Like, where do they go? Do we go back underground and start raving?
Yeah, very valid points. And while I don't fully know the answers, my predictions would be, I think it's going to be a tough few years.
Yeah.
I do. I think even the worst thing is, like, I've got friends who were doing music full time, and then they've had to go get day jobs again in the last like year or so, because it's just, there's not enough money for this side. There's a lot of money if you're at the top. It's probably more money than ever at the top. But down here, it's harder to break through. And I think, it is disheartening and bleak. But I also do think, out the back of a difficult few years, I really feel hopeful that there will be a lot of miniature scenes and things, and people being inventive and cultivating things.
Yeah.
And we just need to keep going, and we need to just do things for the love again. I actually wonder if, because you know how everyone's a DJ now.
Yeah.
Everyone in the world, which is lovely. I love that.
I'm a DJ.
Yeah. Oh my God, do you ever get embarrassed and people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, DJ.
I definitely have it. I definitely have that feeling, because I'm like, I'm not just doing it because I don't like,
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going off a tangent. But I love that there's more DJs, but also we're in a weird time where like everyone wants to be a DJ. Social media followings seem to be like the thing that promoters and ticket sellers are like looking for. And sometimes there is a correlation, but I think it is unfair when there's people who've been doing it for years. And I also think it takes a long time to be a good DJ, like being amongst it and like getting all the records and just learning how to play different set times, warming up, closing, peak time, back-to-backs, different genres. Like, that takes years. I would say decades.
Yeah, you're constantly learning.
Yeah.
I feel like on the job, you're constantly going. Like, there's never an end goal, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And no shade to like people who have kind of been DJing the last few years and like have skyrocketed, you know, because there's so many factors to it as well. But I think it is a bit unfair when people have been doing it for so long and now like there are people who might have 100k followers, but they're going to get booked, not always, but they might get bookings over someone who's probably a better DJ because they've been doing it longer, but might have like 5k followers.
I mean, I've seen some of the best DJs ever that don't have a following.
Yeah.
And in East London, at like Dolce Superstore.
Yeah.
And the way that they move their hands is like magician. It's like, and you don't get to see that so much. It's all about like, I think on social media, you get the 30 seconds of a cool drop or track. Literally. And then that's all you see. You don't see an hour and a half set. And it's like, how can they sustain that for the whole time? And yeah, I think social media definitely has a lot of ups and downs. It can be good and bad. But yeah, I agree. I feel like you've got to do it for the love. And I remember I first DJ'd back in 2017 or 18, just not very well.
I mean, God, my first gigs were awful.
Yeah, I was like 3 o'clock at the Donis, like opening one of the parties and playing like disco records that I wasn't even beat matching or beat gridding or anything on record box. And I was like, oh, that's 118 BPM. Definitely probably wasn't. And you know, like, but you do it. You go out and do it, you know?
Exactly. No, and I think, I don't know, I'm not like having a go, but I do think we need to actually value the art of DJing and not just look at social media. But then it's hard because that's the way it's gone. And like, we all have to adapt as well. Like, I'm posting on social media all the time because also I want to get bookings and it's kind of straddling both. But I just like, I think just thinking like, I would love if this happened. If TikTok and Instagram and Meta disappeared tomorrow.
Well, I can see it.
I mean, we'll see. If that happened, like, you know, would that DJ be getting bookings? And I think if the answer is, you know, yeah, because they've got a good community or they've got good records or like, then that's, you know what I mean? Then that's someone who you should be booking, not just because they're doing up influencer. Talking
of social media, how do you not manage your own social media, but how do you manage expectation with social media? Does it something
as in like my own expectation or
your own, or also like, yeah, because I feel like I can feel a lot of pressure from people around me, like teams, or like to post a lot. And like what I found, and I wonder if you'll find the same, I think what I've realized about when I've been making music, it's the making of the content for the music that I'm like, sometimes it doesn't feel organic or real, and I struggle with that. Like if it's not real, and especially if it's like they're like record in the studio and get this and this and this, and I'm like, but that's not how it works. I'm not like putting my phone up to then sit and write, you know, like it's weird. I don't know. I feel like sometimes like a bit of mystique is always good.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, it's a huge killer of creativity, and like when you're in creative flow or you're actually doing something, like taking a video is like the last thing. Anyway, to be honest, I over the years I used to get really annoyed, especially when like the engagement, when that all fell to shit like a few years ago. I'm just like, oh, I don't even care enough anymore. Like it's not that deep.
And that's a good place to be.
And it is annoying, and it is always the way where you spent like 2 hours making something for a post, and then that's the one that bombs and it gets like 100 likes, you know? Or like something you're doing on a really good track, and then you put one thing up and then like it gets like barely any views. But you know what I mean? Like that is just part of it. I think you just have to be like, okay, well, just move on to the next.
And that's the best way to be with it.
Don't get attached.
Yeah.
It's not good for your mind. Just keep moving.
That's good advice, because I definitely think it's valid, because it can feel struggle city. So all of these amazing things you've got to do with other talents, watching them and then helping them and nurturing them. But now you are making and releasing your own music.
Yeah.
And how does that feel? Have you always wanted to do that?
It's scary. It's also funny because you definitely mentioned that at the top of the interview, and then classic me, I spoke about everyone else first before myself.
I think it's good. It's a good way to get here. It feels good that we're here now.
Yeah. I've always wanted to put stuff out and make stuff, and as I said, I got into this with radio and then DJing first, and I was just enjoying that, and you know, I think I kind of got to a point within that, and you know, was aware about music production, and was always interested about how music was made. And you know, when I was younger, I did a bit of musical stuff. Like I played piano for a couple of years, I got to grade 4 on the oboe.
Oh,
Just
nice.
so you know.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a good one. But I
Did
love...
you remember it now?
Maybe. It's a bit like a recorder.
Okay.
I'll be cracking it out.
Yeah.
My Jaguar live. No. But you know, I've always like enjoyed that, and in terms of like creating art, like my kind of thing is I've always loved writing. Like I used to like journal a lot when I was younger and had my little like emo blog, and used to love like poems, and just like that was like my thing. And I think I lost that because I wasn't really writing or creating a tangible thing as such. And while radio and DJing is a creative art form, you're not creating like a tangible piece of art, like a song or a story or a poem or a painting. And I think I started to miss that, and you know, got to like towards the end of my 20s, and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm missing something. But also I never had the time. I never got the time to like sit and figure out how to use Ableton, and it's so scary. It's terrifying, like, because it's an endless thing. Like you're not going to just one day know how everything works. Like it's just like DJing, like it's endless.
I got Ableton and had it for about a year before I opened it.
Yeah, no, exactly, easily. Yeah, same, easily. And I'm still terrified of it. But I'm really proud of the fact that I have now conquered that fear and like tried not to listen to those voices like being like, well, who are you to make music? Because people say that though, don't they? And I think I was listening to that and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just always just be like broadcaster, DJ, presenter, but I want it all. And I'm curious about it. So I'm going to do
that whole mentality of why should you do it? Like, what does music mean to you? Because I feel like music for me is for everyone.
Yeah.
And music, everyone innately has some sort of musicality. In what way? They like certain songs. Maybe not like to like a level of making music, but like everyone loves music. It's a universal language, you know? So I feel like no one should be stopped to do it.
No, exactly. I know that now. And like my friend, I've said this to a few people, my friend Caitlin, she's a songwriter, and because we're having this conversation, I was like, oh, it's just like the imposter syndrome, and like it's a lot sometimes. And then she was like, well, no one's more or less entitled to create music and art and literally express themselves. Like no one, you know, just because you're Calvin Harris or you're bedroom producer or you're Bimini or Jack, it doesn't mean one of you is more or less entitled to express yourself and make art. And then I was like, oh, okay, that makes me feel better. I'm just gonna play and have fun. And
carve out your own genre.
Yeah. UKC. I mean, it's a joke.
I mean, I'm obsessed.
It's a joke, but it's also not a joke.
It's like ironic.
It's also a way of life.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
I mean, I love UK. It's so good. And like, I'm obsessed with the first song you put out, Wild.
Thank you.
And you know, it's been a staple in most of my sets, basically. Like,
thank you so
and
much.
anytime it goes off, people love it. I played it at Weekend in Malta actually, and everyone loves it. But like, yeah, and then I've heard your new song, and I was like sending you a verse, like, I want to do a remix to this. It's so
we definitely
good.
We should definitely do that.
Yeah, for sure.
We should talk about that.
It's so fun.
Thank you. Yeah, so my second track, which probably will be out around now as this comes out, it's called White Pony. And yeah, I would say this track and Wild, both in the UK vein, which, in case you don't know, is essentially, like, I would say it's UK-based influenced queer club music.
Which we love.
So, yeah, an Azealia Banks track mixed in with some dubstep, maybe a Kim Petras vocal, some skippy hi-hats, and like a Reese bass sound. Just like fun, heavy,
bouncy,
silly.
fun.
You're kind of switching between bass face and like also like girly hips moving kind of thing. And it's like the way you mix as well, you know? It's like Wild, really proud of the reaction with that. I genuinely loved making that track, and that whole process was incredible. White Pony is something, so I started the idea with a producer called Bullet Tooth, who I'm such a fan of. He's amazing in the kind of bassy, garagey world. And it's like a really like dark, like heavy, like gnarly bass line. Quite simple initially. And then on the way home, I just had like, I don't know why, the phrase White Pony just came to me.
I love
And
it.
then I came home and I live with my partner who's a songwriter, and I was like, I sent a voice note being like, okay, when we get home, we are recording vocals for this. It's called White Pony. And I was just like, I'm on the White Pony.
Yeah.
And then we got home and then we just wrote this very silly sort of top line to it. And then the intro is literally me and her just like chatting shit. It's kind of like girls' bathroom on a club vibe.
And it gives me like Best Friend's Ass by Paris
Yeah.
when they're in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. But again, I love the kind of play between like heavy and like screw face production and bass and the darkness, but then like the kind of silly, girly.
It's so good that like taking that and then bringing a bit of a femme energy to it. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed. Like I feel like I have loved UK before you even coined the term UK.
Exactly. I mean, someone had to.
Someone had to.
It's the journalist in me
There
sort
you
of
go.
just marking a period of time that we can refer back to in a few years.
And we love that. And I think like, because I remember first getting one of your SoundCloud downloads, I think it was Gag on it maybe, or one of the, and I was playing that out as well. So I love to see where you've taken your sound, and it's right up my street. Like I'm obsessed. So I love everything you're doing. White Pony is sick, by the way, everyone. So
thank you. Yeah, and you know what's interesting? I feel like because I have a sound, even though I'm just putting out my second track, I think the sound I've found is one through my label, and because I've been doing that for 2 years now. So like curating music and releasing other people's music, but in a very kind of targeted, specific way. While all the label releases are quite different sonically, a lot of them do have a similar sound, and like they're kind of a little bit crossover, but also hit hard in the club. But also I think just DJing, like UK Country came about through like me blending my love of pop music and queer clubs with like sort of more heavier, face melting bass lines.
And that is, I'm right up my street, and I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah.
And also you just mentioned something that we haven't even spoken about yet, label.
Yeah.
Utopia.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
You've got some incredible releases on that.
Thank you.
Incredible artists.
Thank you. Yeah. The label is something I'm probably most proud of in my career.
I mean, it's big. It's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. So the label I started 2 years ago, and from my kind of hope with that is most of the artists are like fairly emerging, and I kind of just go off like vibes. Like all these people I've signed or worked with are like people I've just fallen in love with, and we've got such a special bond. And I'm obsessed with these tracks. I could play them out on my DJ sets. Like we've released music from Lou Ray. Her track Feel For You was huge for us last year. Like Ghost, his Spice Girls techno edit. Spicy from Paige Eliza and Flavor D. That was amazing that we put out an artist as big as Flavor D on the label. But then like Mel Brown, Soulful House. Like this year we've done Skellectra and Monzo and Soniku, who's an incredible producer, putting out 3 tracks of him this year. And kind of setting the scene that way. And then now it's my turn to release on the label as well. So I feel like the platform's already being kind of established. It's been really useful as well because I know how to put out music. I know it's kind of endless. All the things that go into it, like the promotion, the marketing, the radio plugging, the seeding it out to DJs, the strategy around the content. Like we think about everything. And I'm really proud of kind of how much we've done as a really, really small team, a small independent label, but also with my own stuff. Like I'm like just trying to apply everything I've learned and be really meticulous. Like the release strategy for Wild and kind of around the releases this year, I've put so much work in, like me and my manager, just like planning, scheming, emailing everyone. And we've got amazing results, and you can do that independently. It's like, it takes a while, but you actually don't need these massive platforms or labels anymore. And no shade to them, like they will always have their place. But I also want to say to any independent artists or people running labels, like you can absolutely do this yourselves.
You're too good of a journalist, because that was a question I was going to ask. What would you say to? No, it's so true. My manager Terry, who I love, been with Terry for a year. Anytime there's a new release, she sends out hundreds of emails. She does it, and I'm like, you work, you do it, you go for it. I mean, it's so. I think everyone thinks it's about the label or have that idea, but now everything's changing. Yeah,
I mean, it's interesting as well because you want, like, it's increasingly harder to make money with your music as well. So like, these big label deals as well, you could be signing away like 80% of the master to your label, and then it's like, well, you know, you might get an advantage. There's obviously pros and cons to both, but like if you're giving away that much of your master rights and royalties, essentially, like you need to ask yourself, is it actually going to be worth it? Or could you retain that and just be really smart, and you could do like some Bandcamp only bits or merch, or there's lots of different ways you can make revenue. You just got to be inventive and hustle, I think. But I'm a hustler. You're a hustler.
Yep, we got
I'm
a
hustler, baby. So yeah, I don't know. I'm very proud of it though. I love running a label. It's like
it's so good. I mean,
fun.
there's so much. The Jaguar Foundation. You've BBC introducing Utopia Talks.
Yeah, podcasts.
Now releasing your own music.
Yeah, and the parties as well.
And the parties, of course. I know. Amazing. It's amazing.
I don't know how I do it, but I do. And I'm very proud of it. And yeah, Utopia turns 5 this year.
Amazing.
5 years since our first party, which was in lockdown.
Where did it come from, Utopia?
What, like the name?
Yeah.
I think my old manager kind of just came out of it because I think I did a panel. I think it was like a pride panel with Gay Times like years and years ago. Apparently I said something like, I'm trying to build this utopian world, and just kept saying the word utopia. And then he was like, oh, this could be a good name for something.
Well, I would like you to keep doing it, everything you're doing, because it's amazing, and I want to be part of this utopian world.
Yeah, man.
We will get there.
Absolutely. We should do, we had you at a party.
No, we were going to Pride, but I think I wasn't able to make it.
Yeah, I would love to have you DJ.
I've got one more question for you.
Yeah.
If you could look back to yourself as younger, figuring things out, whatever that means to you, your identity, who you were, what would you tell yourself now?
Wowee, how long have we got? I mean, I'd say a few things, if I may.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of looking inwards a lot the last couple of years with therapy. And actually, I've made a song about this, which is coming in September. It's going to be like my EP focus track.
Amazing.
It's called Flowers. And that track is actually about looking back at my inner child, because she actually gives me a lot of strength and bravery. Like that inner child, specifically like 6-year-old Jaguar. My mum used to call me Madam at that age, so I call her Madam, this inner child. She's like big hair, bossy, like just does what she wants, doesn't take any shit from anyone. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, when I have to do something hard, I look to her. So she actually gives me a lot. But I think when I look back at, you know, my younger self who might need me, like I think of more like teenage me, or like even early 20s, mid-20s me, who's, you know, going through stuff and not maybe realizing, you know, like everyone gets depressed, everyone gets anxious, all these things that now I'm working on and can recognize. I think I would just say, like, just give yourself a break, be kind to yourself, because I think can be very hard on myself. I think the world kind of makes you like that, especially like these days, everything's so fast paced. And regarding even just career alone, like I wanted to do it all. I wanted to be on Radio 1, like be a big DJ. And I was getting super burnt out, and it got to like 28 and 27, 28. And I was in such a bad place, but I didn't even see that spiraling happen. I think this happens to a lot of people at that age. But now I'm really mature and wise because I'm 30 now. I now can look back and be like, okay, I needed to like just take a big breath and take a break. And so I think I would just say, give yourself a break, babes. It's going to be all right. You can't do it all in one day. And also, if you are feeling burnt out, definitely take a break. And the world isn't going to stop spinning. Like, no one died because your Instagram post bombed, or like because you didn't get this thing or do that thing. Like, it's actually okay. It's not that deep. And I think just reconnecting with yourself, taking yourself out of things will make you appreciate and love whatever it is, the art form or the industry that you're in, because then you can appreciate it more.
That is sound advice. And I am so excited to hear more music. Flowers.
Yeah.
But I hope you give yourself the flowers that you deserve, because you are a bright light in this industry, and I can't wait to hear more about everything that you do.
Thank you.
Jaguar, you've been incredible. I love you. Thank you for coming on The Pieces.
Thank you so much.
Yay.